Good morning, what's going on, people? And today I start a new episode called Round the NFL with Miz. We're going to go around the NFL, we're going to talk some football. It's Tuesday. Last night, you had two tight games. I'm not going to talk much about Carolina Saints because let's be honest, there's nothing really interesting about that game. But there was a great game with a great rivalry between the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and unfortunately we lost a great player in this league, and it was an ugly, gruesome injury. Chubb's knee got caught, bent the opposite way. I believe he tore his knee up. He's out for the season. It's a major loss. And it's yet, unfortunately, I love the running back position. I still think the running back is very important to football. Teams that can run the ball and control the clock still win. Passing, it's become a passing league, and the league wants that because they want fantastic, spectacular throws and receivers to catch balls, and the young generation is in love with that bomb or receivers cutting up players, and it helps the scores get higher, which the league knows they gain a lot of fans through fantasy. We all know come the last week or two of the season and into the playoffs, all the fantasy leagues end, and we get back to physical football, and that's where the run games take you to a championship. But this is why the league is not paying running backs, because running backs get hurt, and they have a very small shelf life. We've seen Barkley once again is hurt. Luckily for the New York Football Giants, it's a minor sprain. You're looking at about 3 weeks. I'm a little bit more on the conservative side, so I'm going to say they're probably going to hold him out for 4 weeks. You don't rush a guy like that back. You want to have him for the long run, second half of the year. I believe Daniel Jones can hold down the fort without Barkley for the first 6 or 7 games and maybe keep the Giants around 500. That's what they need to do. Giants have a tough game Thursday night. Great comeback win. You could look at it two ways. The Giants never should have been down 28-7 to a pathetic Arizona team in the first place. Giants were sleepwalking through the first 6 quarters. The play calling might have had something to do with it, as Dabo took the play calling away from Kafka, make no mistake about it, and opened up the second half with a bomb to Hyatt. And Daniel Jones absolutely went off. So, will that momentum continue into the Niner game? We're going to find out. You're going up against one of the best defenses in San Francisco. Historically, the Giants have given the Niners fits through the decades. But right now, the Niners are at the top of the league. And the Giants are somewhere maybe slightly above the middle. It's going to take an extremely 100% clean football game. No turnovers. You're going to have a big special teams game. And I believe you're going to have to create at least 1 to 2 turnovers in this game. Giants are going to have to attack through the air. The Niners can be passed on. The Rams have done it. And you're going to have to take your chances. You can't just play a conservative game. I like the O-line, the way it played in the second half. And, the couple of changes they made. The Giants' defense is going to have to step up, namely the pass rushers. Kayvon Thibodeau is going to have to bring it off the edge, and I realize that they've been having him play a lot of zone for some reason, but you got to get back to letting him edge rush. Azeez Ojulari has to get his ass on the football field because I'm starting to lose confidence in the guy. The front seven's got to be what we all felt it should be. So far, it hasn't been. The only guy that's bringing it is Dexter. And I got to give some love to McFadden. He's playing really good at linebacker. Right now, that's about it. The rookie corners are trying. It's going to be some growing pains. But you know what? We'll get back to that game. It's a tough spot for the Giants. Look, coming back and beating Arizona buys you a spot to lose a game against San Fran. You know, I'm not saying that we are going to lose, but you can lose that game. The Niners are one of the top teams in the league. And then you got 11 days off. You come home on a Monday night to host Seattle, which to me, a lot of fans, is a payback game. I believe the Giants will win that game on a Monday night off an 11-day rest. So get to 2-2. I think the Giants are in good shape. You got to get to 2-2. Moving around the league, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals decided they weren't going to play anyone in preseason, which a lot of teams in the league did, and it's hurting teams. And I think we're going to see a difference in the NFL league next year where teams will start to play starters in preseason, at least a half every game. You got to get these guys going. Their preseason can't be week 1 and 2, and then before you know it, you're 0-2. The Cincinnati Bengals are 0-2. They were supposed to be a Super Bowl contender. They probably still are. They are 0-2. Burrow's hurt. That could be a major factor. And the Bengals right now, you know, teams are going to say they were 0-2 last year. I'm not buying it. The Bengals are in a real deal scared to not be a playoff team this year. It's a tough division over there. The Steelers are a young, good team. The Browns have a strong defense. Now, they suffered a blow with Chubb, but this kid Ford stepped up. And you notice across the NFL all the time, running backs go down, a young, no-name running back steps up, and now you got a new stud running back. You know, that's just how it goes in the NFL. That's why running backs will come and go, and they're not going to pay them long-term. Let's see if Gray can do that for the Giants. Rookie out of Oklahoma this week. Look, the Cleveland Browns, I feel, are a good team. They're going to fight for the wild card. The Ravens are going to be right there for the top of the division. The Steelers are not going to go away. And Cincinnati's 0-2. You expect them to come back around. So we're going to have to see about the Bengals. But if Burrow's hurt, it spells a lot of trouble for that team this year. Could be one of those years where those injuries just linger. They come and go. He never gets the real rest he needs. You know, you've seen that happen. And it can hamper the entire season. Detroit Lions. Team that a lot of people are high on. Young, talented, very well coached. Right? They lost a major player this week. It's going to play a role. He's out for the season, right? The wide receiver. I believe the Lions is still a pretty damn good team. They should find their way to at least 9 wins, if not 10. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-0. And there's not a person in this country that is a believer, including myself. Mayfield has Tampa Bay playing football, but I'm not a believer, and I don't think it's going to last. That division's terrible. Saints, Atlanta, Carolina. Carolina's not going anywhere this year. They'll give you dog fights, but the QB's going to go through his rookie growing pains. It's expected. You know, they're also having him manage the game, extra manage. You know what I mean? And I'm not high on them. I'm not really high on any team in that division. One of them is going to make the playoffs, probably with 9 wins, not go anywhere. But, look, I'm not going to ignore the facts. The Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers right now. And as a Giant fan, I may not love to say it because I hate both those teams with a passion. But you got to keep it real. And a lot of Giant fans don't want to keep it real because it's the Dallas Cowboys. They want to ignore it. The Dallas Cowboys right now are the best football team in the NFL. They are a power. The Cowboys are a power. I've said this before. They finally have made that next step up. Their defense is lethal. Their front 7 might be the best in the NFL. The 49ers are up there with them. These are the 2 powers of the NFL. The AFC might have more good quality teams, like 7, 8, or 9 teams, maybe. But the 2 powers at the very top of the league right now are the Cowboys and the 49ers. And Micah Parsons is not even a conversation. The best, forget the best defender in the NFL. I will tell you right now, today going into week 3, that Micah Parsons is the best single player in the entire NFL football league. His impact is like no other. He's bringing more impact to the game than some of the best quarterbacks in the league, including Mahomes. So the Cowboys are 2-0. Both games were complete blowouts, okay? They saw a little baby and Zach Wilson come into their house, and they treated him accordingly. We're going to slap you in the ass, put the diaper on, and put you to bed, brother. And Parsons absolutely assaulted that kid. It's Tuesday night. The game was Sunday, and I promise you Zach Wilson is still having nightmares. He's peeing in his pants. Zach Wilson took a beating. The Jets got served. And you know what? Let me go into the Jets for a second as a Giant fan. And my friends that are Jet fans won't like this. But here's the damn truth. You walk around, you prance around, dancing, cursing, with all these stupid made-up Salah. I'm a tough guy, you get a railroad, all this nonsense, the mountain, talking all this garbage bullshit. You've been a coach for, what, 2 years in the league? You still haven't done a diddly squat. Hard Knocks. I told you Hard Knocks was cancer. Hard Knocks is the worst show for a team to be on. And the Jets wanted to make believe that they didn't choose to be on there. They were forced. Don't be fooled. The Jets were a very arrogant, cocky team. And they were foaming at the mouth to be on that show and show it to the country. We're going to do this. We're a Super Bowl team. You know, Salah and Rodgers with their little handshake, smoke bullshit. There was a lot of cockiness and arrogance about this team. And all they did, and I said it in August to my friends, you're putting a big X on your back. You're laying the target on your back for 30 other teams in the league. They're going to bring it every single week and want to kick your ass in. It's better. As a Giant fan, history for us has showed when no one talks about you and you fly under the radar, that's when the Giants have won championships. Other teams in the league too. The Steelers. When you're under the radar and you're not looked at, and teams don't recognize you until it's the second week of January, those are the teams that go about their business. They're humble. They bust their ass and hustle and work hard on every single play of every single game of the season. Like they got something to prove, like there's a monster chip on their shoulder. Those are the teams that win championships. Not the team that proclaims themselves as the August Kings every single fucking year. The Jets are the champions of July and August. Well, unfortunately, you put all your eggs, and you paid $100 million for this guy, or 75 because he gave back some. You spent big time for Aaron Rodgers, and you know what you got out of it? 4 plays. 4 plays where he was beat up, knocked around, slammed to the ground, and then came the injury, unfortunately. I don't laugh at the injury. I like Aaron Rodgers. I wanted to see what the Jets could do. And in that week 1 game, the Jets defense proved to you that with Aaron Rodgers, they might have been a 12-win team. They could have won the division or competed with it. I still have Buffalo at the top. Some people like Miami. Miami's 2-0. They're showing me something. As long as they keep Tua healthy, Miami's going to make a run here this year. But, you spent $75 million on this guy. You got 4 plays out of him. And I'm sorry. Once again, an organization that a lot of people feel is jinxed, mushed. If anything could go the opposite way for them, it will. It has, it always did, and it just did again. A la Testaverde in 1998 when the Jets were favored to win the Super Bowl on, what was it, the second or third play of the game, he snapped his leg without anyone anywhere near him. Just the field snapped his leg. Oh, we all know the MetLife Field has claimed a lot of players. Even this new turf they laid down. A drop better, still garbage. Two teams in the richest area of the country, New York and New Jersey, two organizations can't put together a nice stadium and a beautiful field, a nice, beautiful grass field, and spend the money to maintain it. You got all the money in the world, so stop the bullshit. You made a new stadium in 2011. It looks like a prison from outside. Inside, it feels like you're sitting inside a gray toilet bowl looking up at someone taking a shit on you. The stadium's disgusting. Yeah, you wanted to keep it old school football. That's fine. You should have kept the old Meadowlands. The stadium had character. It was loud. You'd open up the tunnel winds on each side of the end zone, and the winds would blow through. It was a major advantage for the defenses over here. The Giants' defense won championships on that. You took that away. You built an ugly ass. I got to tell you, it's the ugliest stadium in the country. It's not pleasant to go to. There's no standing grounds behind the end zone. There's no bridge. There's no electric lights atmosphere up above. It's just a plain high school stadium. It's embarrassing. And I got to put that on Mara. I don't expect the tenant to pay for the stadium. The owner's got to take care of the business. But truth be told, nobody feels bad for the Jets, because the Jets and their Jet fans and all the media that hyped that team up had them in the Super Bowl. They didn't play a game yet, had them in the Super Bowl. Oh, the most talented team in the league, great receivers. Hall is the greatest ever. You're rushing them back. Now the Jets are gonna panic, right? They know that Zach Wilson's not. If he wasn't ready then and he's not ready now, then he's just not gonna be the guy now. It's obvious. I was a guy who said you got to groom him, you got to develop. But the Jets didn't develop him. They threw him on the bench and went after a 40-year-old legend. But what do you think it did to Zach Wilson's confidence? Fucking shot him. You destroyed him. You never developed him. Salah's not a head coach. He's a defensive coordinator. You didn't develop Sam Darnold. And now you didn't develop Zach Wilson. You went for it all. You went and bought Aaron Rodgers, and tried to buy it all. It doesn't work that way in the NFL. Did you not think the possibility of Rodgers getting hurt was not real? I mean, you do have one of the worst fucking O-lines in the NFL, and all the other fans were telling you that all summer long. You didn't draft a lineman. You did draft Tippmann. He's not a true center. That's fine. 2 weeks in, he hasn't played it down. You drafted McDonald. See, only the Jets could do this. You can't make this shit up. Only the Jets could do this. You drafted McDonald, 15th overall. 15th overall, right? I believe. Oh, it was in the first round. Oh, well, you jumped back into the late first round. You got McDonald, right? Well, I don't remember clearly, but I know he was a high pick. And I know a lot of Jet fans were going nuts about him, raving about this guy. 2 games in, he hasn't even suited up. Doesn't even have a jersey and pads on. He's in street clothes. Oh, because the Jets have all these pass rushers, so, you know. You drafted him in the first round. And he's not playing football. You're not developing it either. He's not a quarterback that needs to sit and learn. He's an edge rusher. You drafted him early. What are we doing here? What are you doing? I'm sorry, man. The organization still is making the same mistakes over and over. You got Tippmann. Play the guy, even at guard. You got McGovern playing in the middle there at center, right? He's ranked 27th or 28th in the NFL. He's a fucking trash can. Put Tippmann in, you fools. Put McDonald in at least part of the game. Get the kids' feet wet. But 3 years, the Miz has been telling Jet fans that Lawson is shot. He's done. Now you're waking up and realizing it. how slow he looked on the field the other day. Lawson is not working for you. He's done. He's slow. He abused too much weightlifting and whatever the hell he put in his body, and all those muscles have slowed him down. He's no longer athletic. He's not agile. Go with the kids. It's a shame that I gotta coach Salah. Look, man, you lost Rodgers. It's unfortunate. Your defense won that game. Fans acted like they won a Super Bowl last week. I understand you beat Buffalo. It took 5 turnovers from Josh Allen and a punt return in overtime to win the game. Be honest with yourself. You never should have won that game. But you did. It's a good win. It was a great atmosphere. It was an emotional night. But the win does not overshadow the huge blow to your season. Losing Aaron Rodgers on the 4th play of the year because you never put an O-line in front of him. He mentioned it several times in August. He was worried about it. You never had a set 5 ever in any preseason game. And you didn't draft enough O-linemen. And when you had a chance to go find a tackle out there or another veteran lineman, you chose the toy Cook. I get it, Hall isn't ready. But you needed the lineman. You could have stuck with Carter or one of the younger running backs. Just mistakes. Just not recognizing that the line of scrimmage wins football games. And if the Jets had intentions for a championship, they were supposed to stack that O-line. And they failed to do so. And that's on the head of Douglas. Now, Douglas is a good GM. He's drafted a lot of talent, but he missed the boat on a couple of things like what we just spoke about. Salah and Douglas are going to get another year after this because they're going to pin their season on Rodgers got hurt on the 4th play of the year, and it was a misfortune. And the entire season and the organization and team was built around Aaron Rodgers. So they're going to say he's going to do physical therapy, he's going to bust his ass, and he's going to come back next year. So they're going to get one more year, Salah and Douglas. But I don't know if Salah is the guy. He's emotional. He's passionate. You love that. He's built like a player, and the kids relate to him. He doesn't coach up. He doesn't teach football. And he has no clue about scheming or strategies. Unlike the other bald, fat guy across town, Dabble, who knows all of that. And I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just giving you an example. It's in town. The Jets are the more talented team, and the hype was big. They're way more talented than the Giants right now. But a lot of times, football player, hard-nosed, bust-his-ass football teams will go further than the talented ones. It's just known. Coaching in the NFL is huge. Priceless. We're going into week 3. It's early. Arizona's putting up dogfights, but we all know on a down low, once they get to week 5 or 6, when they're like 1-6, they're going to tank the rest of the year. They got eyes on Cleve Williams, and rightfully so. I think Murray's done over there. He'll be free to go somewhere else this offseason. A trade, something. They're going to move on. The Rams are playing better than anyone thought. All right? They're 1-1. They gave the Niners a fight for 4 quarters. You got to respect that. The Buffalo Bills are still my pick to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC. A lot of people have jumped off the wagon and think the window is closed. The Bills should be 2-0. They came home and whooped that ass Sunday, 38-10 on the Raiders. And the Raiders are not a good team, but still. I believe the Bills are still going to win 11 games. 11-12 wins. I'll put them at 11. I believe they're going to win their division, but Miami might be right around there. I'm sorry. Before the year started, I had the Jets fighting for the division and getting a 10 to 11 wins, getting into a wild card. After the way their defense played the first game without Rodgers, I would have bumped them up to 12 if they still had Rodgers. They were the real deal team. Better than I thought. They showed me something those 4 quarters, that defense. And the receivers, Wilson. You know, they got talent. Hall is a home run hitter. I think it'll still be a couple weeks before his knees are totally back to normal. But, I'm sorry to say, the Jets have a must-win this Sunday versus New England. And New England's 0-2, and they've been feisty and strong in both games. And you gotta believe Belichick has a 15-game winning streak. Yeah, I said it. 15-game winning streak on the Jets. This shit is unheard of. He owns them. It doesn't mean anything towards the game this week. This is a must-win for the Jets. Because if the Jets ever lost this game, their season is over. They're not making the playoffs. Even though there's a long year to go, there's a lot of teams in the AFC. And I think the Jets have to be out there looking for a veteran quarterback right now. Are the Vikings willing to give up Cousins? Will they take a first-round pick? I don't know. I don't think the Jets have a second-round pick. And I don't know if the Vikings are ready to give up on the season yet. One more loss, and they probably will be. But you know the Vikings are the type of team that can go ahead and win next week and turn things around. And they got a very loyal, sold-out fan base. With many families and season tickets. So what are you saying when you just toss Cousin over to the Jets? So I don't know if the Vikings are willing to do that so quickly. There's a couple guys out there. Maybe you could get Matt Ryan out of the TV box. You definitely can if you call him. You got Wentz. You got to bring in a veteran to be behind Zach Wilson. Another game or two like that, and you're going to have to go to the veteran. So, this is a big game for the Jets. It's season-defining versus the Patriots. And don't think the Patriots didn't see a window of opportunity when Rodgers went down. Now, they haven't been able to get that win, even though they almost came back and stole the Eagles game. If the Patriots ever won this game, they have life. And it doesn't take much life for Belichick to breathe energy into a team and come up with a scheme. You know he's a scheme artist. Right now, going to week 3, I gotta say it, as a diehard Giants fan, I'd like to see more out of my defense. And I know they have a lot more in them. The Eagles are 2-0. They're a very good team. I do not think they're as good as the Niners or the Cowboys. Things look off. We'll see as the weeks go. They look to me like a finesse passing team that belongs in the AFC. They're not built with that power defense that the Dallas Cowboys and Niners have, and a big front on the O-line. The Niners are a loaded roster. Purdy's playing great, but how many QBs in the league wouldn't be good with that roster? Let's be honest. I was telling my friend, if Daniel Jones was on the Niners, they'd be even better. I think he already would have won them a Super Bowl in the last 2 years. But hey, I can't knock Purdy because he's doing his thing. Playing good quality football on a really good loaded team. The Dallas Cowboys right now to me are the best team in football. Whatever, they're right there. A1.5, Niners, Cowboys right at the top. And it wouldn't shock me if both these teams are playing a big time game in the NFC Championship. I know they play week 5 on a Sunday night. I think both of them have eyes on a much bigger prize. I've touched on a few of the teams. Each week I will do an episode like this. We're going to go around the league and we're going to hammer some teams. Around the NFL with Miz.